So just to give you a quick introduction to the team that will be presenting this today, it's going to be the distribution team based in the EMEA office, which is in London. So it's going to be myself, Hannah Ramazic, as well as Evelina Kuchnia, and our newest contribution to the team, Jota Farah. So let's start off with the agenda. The first part that I will be talking about is going to be a general market introduction, which will be covering the MENA and Africa regions. This will both be looking at mobile and web behavior as well as user behavior for these regions in general. We will then go over into offers, where Evelina will be talking you through some of the top offers that we have in the network, as well as sort of what promo types they're using, as well as giving you some general hints and tips on what you should be thinking about when promoting these offers in general. And then last but not least, we have Jota, who will be talking about the top ad networks and ad exchanges that we found through our research. This is both across web and mobile. He will be looking into different cost models, and also give you advice on what traffic types that work the best. So let's get started with the market introduction. We'll be going through MENA first, and for those of you who do not know, it actually stands for Middle East and North Africa. So why is this a crucial region? At present, there's been registered that there's 355 million people living there in total, which make up for 6% of the entire world population. In total, it has a internet usage of 123 million people, and there's actually seen a growth of 250% over the last 10 years, and it's expected to grow much further over the next 5 years as well. In total, there's 58 million Facebook users, and Facebook has actually registered that there's approximately 56,000 new signups happening daily. So this clearly makes it a very big promotional method for advertisers in this region in general. Also, what's very significant is that they've registered 250 million mobile subscriptions for this year. As you can see here on the map, the MENA region actually is the highlighted countries here in orange. However, for this presentation today, we will be mainly focusing on the UAE, Saudi Arabia, Morocco, and Egypt, because we have seen most success with these offers and brands in those regions in general. So just to give you some general information about internet statistics and the population, we can see that Saudi Arabia, with 27 million people, has an internet / broadband penetration of 66%. Mobile penetration, on the other hand, is actually a bit larger with 77%. United Arab Emirates, which is the smallest region in terms of population, with 9 million people, actually has the highest internet penetration with 93%. Mobile comes at 72% penetration. Then we have Egypt, which is the largest country in terms of populace. It has actually the lowest internet penetration at 53.2% and mobile penetration at 61%. And then last but not least, we've got Morocco at 34 million people, and the internet penetration is 61.3%, and mobile penetration is 59%. In total, across both broadband and internet, this region is expected to see an increase of 33% by 2018. So just to give you some overview of the mobile operators in this region, we can see that Saudi Arabia actually has a fairly kind of fair spread between 3 different companies. So Saudi Telecom, which has the highest market share at 45%, followed by Mobily at 38% and Zain at 17%. In UAE, it's a bit different, so we have 2 key players here. It's Etisalat at 54% and DU at 46%. And then for Egypt, there is a fair spread between 3 key players. So Vodafone is the biggest at 42%, Mobilil at 37%, and Etisalat at 21%. And then for Morocco, it's pretty similar here as well in terms of share, although Maroc Telecom comes in first place at 47%, Meditel at 33%, and Envy at 20%. So what do users tend to do online? When having asked questions, people actually indicated that most of their free time goes to watching video clips on YouTube. This was then followed by playing online games and accessing social media channels, mainly Facebook. When accessing social media, it was mainly done through their smartphones, up to 83%. And also 52% indicated that they mainly tend to access social media platforms in the evening, and 21% tend to do so in the afternoon. Looking at sort of devices that they own, laptop is most commonly used. It's said that the population, like half of the population, actually owns a laptop. Desktop is around 24%, and this is actually expected to decrease quite a bit. As for mobile phones, we can see that Android is the market leader at present with 40%. iPhone is sort of like staggering along at 20.6%. However, this is expected to have an increase up to 30.5% in the next 3 years. So it's definitely going to be a shift in the mobile phone market. And then for tablets, we can see that iPad is the leader at 16% and Android at 10.5%. A very interesting thing that we found also is the difference in browser breakdowns. So we can see that Chrome actually has the highest market share across all countries with an approximate market share of like 15%, 50%. On second place, however, it differs. So Morocco and Egypt, users tend to prefer Firefox, whereas Saudi Arabia tends to use Safari. In the UAE, we can see that UC browser is the biggest at 27%. And then on third place in general, Internet Explorer tends to be there, and on average they hold a 5% of the entire market share. When having asked users what language or preference they have when browsing the web, majority answered Arabic, although there is a large population that actually likes to see ads in English. And then French, we have around 6%, together with a mix of others, many different languages at 1%. And just to sort of give you some quick key facts about e-coms in this region, because this is something that Evelina will be talking quite a bit on when we move on to the offer section. So we can see that there 35% of all the users actually claim that they access the internet to do some sort of shopping in the last year. The significant fact here is that it's actually grown a lot since 2015 and 2014. It's basically gone up by a third. Also, 44% claim that they made a purchase online with a credit or debit card in the last 3 months. And we can also see that 90% of the users in total actually use their mobile phone to make some sort of purchase. Also, another interesting fact is that the users actually prefer shopping from local homegrown sites rather than international websites. And this mainly has to do with their take on security, because they believe that local and domestic sites are more trusted than international ones. Users are also more likely to open up emails and give out details online compared to other users in the world. And they've also said that they prefer cash on delivery as a payment method as opposed to paying by a credit or a debit card. Some key dates to look out for when promoting offers, especially in the e-commerce sector, is obviously Ramadan. Brands have basically said that their online purchases increased by 60% during this region, and 71% of the users tend to spend their money on food, 47% tend to spend their money on clothes, and 31% have actually indicated that they get heavily influenced by sales tactics, hence why they tend to do most of their purchases during this period. And now over to Evelina, who's going to talk us through the top offers for MENA.
So like Hannah mentioned, our main focus for this region it's e-commerce. This vertical has been growing a lot in the past few years. People prefer to shop from the local brands. That's why we have many local brands rather than international, focusing on this market. So the first one is Namshi. So this is a CPA offer that converts on the sale. The payout is $750 for the CPA. It is open to most of Arabic countries. However, the best converting are Saudi Arabia and United Arab Emirates. The offer is open to display, email, inline contextual traffic, search, social, and mobile, and it doesn't allow pop, adult, and no brand bidding. We have as well mobile apps for the same brand, which converts on the app install and open. And the iOS version pays $120 CPI and Android 75 cents CPI plus 50% rev share. This is a great deal if you send the good quality traffic and actually the traffic converts into the sale within 7 days of app install. You can get some additional revenue. The offer is open to in-app display, mobile display, mobile search, and mobile social. Top converting age groups for this offer is between 20 and 30, which is pretty young people. And the gender spread, it's pretty much equal, 51% for female and 49% for male. And the top categories are dresses, handbags, jewelry, and some watches, t-shirts, etc. And the very unique thing about Namshi is that they have some exclusive deals with some brands that no one else has in this region, which makes it so popular in MENA. The top brands are female, for instance, Ginger, for male, 75. There are also some international brands like Nike, Lacoste, Adidas that have also good deals. The second brand is Wadi.com. It is quite small and new brand in this region. However, it's been growing a lot. It is open to Saudi Arabia and United Arab Emirates. It pays $15 for any sale. It's open to display, email, inline contextual, social traffic. However, if you have pop traffic, you can still run it. Just do that through separate offers, which are listed on the slide. We have as well Wadi CPL offer that it's convert on a double opt-in. Like Hannah mentioned, people are more willing to give out details in this region, so this offer is converting really well. The payout, it's 120. And it's open to Saudi Arabia. The top converting age group for this region is between 25 and 28, with pretty much very young people as well. The main focus on the male targeting group. However, they have focused more and more on fashion, which is like the female targeting group is growing a lot. Top targeting, top categories, and it's electronics. Another brand, it's Totlu. It's a rupture offer, pays 4% euros for any sale. The offer opens to Azerbaijan, Lebanon, Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, France, and Germany. It's open to display and send inline contextual, search, social, and no pop and adult is allowed. It targets male and female between 18 and 50, so the spread it's very big. The average basket value is $30 to $50, and people who are searching this site are looking for good value for the money. They currently don't have any promotions, however, they're offering free shipping worldwide. And the last e-commerce brand for today for this region is Alexeter. So this is a rev share offer that pays 8% euros rev share for any sale for the confirmed not pending sale. The offer is open to display and send in the contextual traffic, pop, search, and social. And the offer it's open, it's global. However, I would really recommend to focus on the Middle East countries as well as European, where there is a large amount of Muslim community. So the targeting info, the women and all ages mostly conservative Muslim are best converting. The average basket value is between $50 and $70, and the users are looking more for the quality products rather than the deals and sales. And they're currently offering free shipping worldwide when the purchase is over 50 euros. So WeChat and Caddy are mobile current billing offers that we have currently open for Morocco and Ivory Coast, and they convert on a PIN submit. And customer basically needs to enter their phone number, the PIN sent to the customer, they enter the PIN and they get access to the page, and this is where the pixel fires. The payout is 75 euro cents for Morocco and 53 euro cents for Ivory Coast for subscription. It's open to most of the promo types, and it allows medieval Envy for Morocco and Ivory Coast for Orange. Another one is the streaming offer, which is another spin submit offer, however open to Egypt. The conversion flow is similar as for Chari and WizShirt, and the offer pays 50 € for subscription, and it allows Vodafone and Mobileo. Both offers, streaming, WizShirt and Chari, they allowed Wi-Fi and 3G traffic. However, I would recommend to focus on 3G as it's converting much better for both for you and for the advertiser. And the last type of offers I would like to talk about are the toolbars offers. I would like to focus on the 6 offers I'm mentioning here. It's an easy photo editor, calendar spark, mind transit guide, my radio access, get phones only, and smarter password. So those offers are very easy to convert. Basically, the user needs to go on the toolbar and install it on the browser. The offers are mainly global, but if you want to focus on the MENA region, please look for the international campaigns. We have also separate offers for different browsers. It's a Chrome, Firefox, and Internet Explorer and Mac offers. The payouts varies depending on the browser. I just put some examples of the payouts, average payouts for the international MENA region. So as you can see, Chrome has the lowest payout, but it's also converting best. As Hannah mentioned, 50% of all people are using actually Chrome in this region. The offer is open to display, pop under, and search. The top countries. For MENA, the top countries are Algeria, Egypt, Morocco, and Tunisia. However, they are open to any country, so feel free to test it, and the rest of Middle East countries. As Hannah mentioned before, the second, except Chrome, the second biggest browsers for Morocco and Egypt is Firefox. So feel free to share it and test it. And for Safari, it's the top one for Saudi Arabia. The top promo types. So display and pop under is the top promo types for this region. You can run it with direct linking. Just use our banners that are in stock. And search, it's the following. However, you cannot do direct linking. You need to create a pre-lander that has a functionality for the user. So feel free to contact your affiliate manager for more information. So currently we are running a contest for the mentioned brands. If you run any of the products mentioned before from 1st of May and 30th of June, you can get some bonus. So if you earn $500 in revenue, you will get another $500 as a bonus. And if you continue running this offer and reach $1,000, you will receive an additional $250.
Okay, so I'll give a quick introduction on the traffic sources now. We've seen from previous researchers that alongside Google, Facebook, and YouTube, most of the online traffic from the region comes from e-commerce and news websites. A few examples of these are Souk.com, which is an e-commerce website generating around 36 million users a month. Next we have Sabq.org, which is a daily news website generating around 8.3 million users a month, mainly in Saudi Arabia. Thirdly, we have albawabnews.com, which is a news portal generating around 9.3 million users a month, mainly in Egypt. And last but not least, we have Zomato.com, which is a restaurant guide which still generates around 5.2 million users a month, mainly in the United Arab Emirates. Moving on to a few examples of ad networks. The first one I would like to mention is AdFalcon. So AdFalcon is a mobile ad network. Serving over 8.7 billion ad requests per month. They offer targeting options based on demographics and location. They offer metrics on CPC and CPM across video and display with a minimum spend of $100 a month. Secondly, we have Maddict. So Maddict is another mobile ad network. They partnered with Sky News, Opera Media Works, and Motorshow.me for inventory. They offer display, video, native, and rich media offers across CPM, CPL, CPI, and CPC models. There's no minimum spend with Matic as well. Last but not least, we have Media Marketplace. So Media Marketplace is an ad exchange. Providing CPM metrics across rich media and display. They offer cross-device targeting. They're plugged into Lotame for data and Pubmatic for inventory, and also there is no minimum spends with Media Marketplace. So,
thank you, Joseph. Okay, so finally, I will be going through the market introduction for Africa. So, just to give you an overall breakdown of the population, we can actually see that Africa holds a seventh of the entire world population. So they have 1.1 billion as opposed to the world, which is 7 billion. The internet users are not as high as the 3 billion in the world. However, there is a lot of opportunities to be made because the growth is expected to be huge in the next 5 years. And then, as you can see here, the overall sort of internet/mobile penetration is 27% as opposed to the world average, which is 45%. We can see here that Nigeria, with 71 people, has 37% of broadband users and 79% of mobile users. Kenya, with 46 million people, have 58% that currently are using a broadband at home, and actually 83% that are using a mobile. And then in South Africa, it's a bit interesting because the internet penetration on broadband is actually lower as opposed to mobile, which is significantly higher than the other two countries. You may think it's weird that it says 117% mobile penetration, but what it basically means is that more than one user actually owns more than 2 mobile phones. So currently, it's about, most of the users currently have 1.5 mobile phones in their household at this present time. The market in general is expected to see an increase of 46% by 2018. And we did some research basically to see just how big, how much money different companies spend on online advertising. And the average company spend between 7 to 12% of their full marketing spend towards digital marketing, followed by radio, which is the biggest, is actually first. And then just to give you an example of the mobile landscape for Africa, we can see that in Nigeria, it's quite a few key players in there. So MTN GSM have a market share of 44%. Glo has a market share of 23%, followed by Airtel at 18%. Etisalat and a few other smaller companies together hold a share of 10%. In Kenya, however, it's a bit different, where Safaricom actually has the biggest market share at 64%, followed by Airtel at 17% and Telecom at 11%. Orange is growing steadily, but currently only holding a market share of 8%. And then for South Africa, there is quite an even spread. So MTN and Vodacom together have a share of 80%, and Cell C has a share of 18%. And just looking at sort of the preference in mobile phones and what mobile phones are used at the moment, we can see that the majority of the people in South Africa are actually using a BlackBerry, followed by a Samsung, and then a Nokia on the third place with 31.4%. Apple is staggering a bit behind, but this is actually expected to see a large increase. So Apple phones will be going up by 20% in the next 3 years. For Nigeria, Nokia is actually the predominant phone, and this is mainly a feature phone as opposed to a smartphone. BlackBerry comes in the second place with 17%, and then you can see that there are some smaller brands, actually including also Samsung, with around 2% market share each. And then for Kenya, we can see that Nokia even here is a market leader, and BlackBerry is on the second place as well. Samsung and iOS together hold a share of around 5% at present. So what do users do on their mobile phones in Africa? It's a little bit different to the MENA region. We can see that the majority of the people actually tend to do instant messaging. 15% like to do social networking, and email also makes up for a big sort of chunk of how they tend to spend their day on their mobile phone. Apps that are very popular are news and weather, as well as banks and investment. And general sort of search words and things that people search for online are jobs and vacancies at the first place, income opportunities on the second place, news on the third place, and then general like electronics and gadgets on the fourth place, and apartments to rent on the fifth place. Browser breakdown here, it's actually quite a large spread here as well. So we can see that Kenya's #1 is the Firefox at 48%. In South Africa, Internet Explorer has the highest domination with 75% almost. And in Nigeria, it's actually Chrome. On the second place for Kenya, Chrome is taking the lead. Firefox is in the second place for South Africa, and Internet Explorer is in the second place for Nigeria. Then on third place, we can see that the share is quite smaller across Internet Explorer and Chrome for Kenya and South Africa, but Firefox in Nigeria is pretty strong with a market share of 25%. And then we have Safari, which actually holds a pretty significant, like pretty similar market share across all the regions. So it's around 3% for Kenya and South Africa, and in Nigeria it's 12%. Opera, which is the smallest browser and is not actually expected to increase anytime soon, is on the last spot, which goes between 0.2% to 1.8% of market share. And as mentioned before, a lot of people do have mobile phones compared to what they, have laptops and desktops, but do note that the majority of the phones actually are feature phones and not smartphones. So this obviously also kind of affects how you would be doing your advertising as an affiliate. So SMS texts, users basically have indicated that they tend to find ads most noticeable within SMS. So that's why we would recommend to run offers like pin submit, for instance, or anything that's SMS related. Also, they've indicated that in-app display tends to work really well for their attention, and general in-game advertising and website advertising comes on a third and a fourth spot. And just to kind of talk you through the languages so you kind of know how to, change around your banners if needed. In Nigeria, English is predominantly the strongest first language, with 53% of the population that actually speak it. Then there's a mix of sort of local languages, but these are mainly in rural areas, whereas in urban areas, if you do want to advertise it, you can always get away with sort of doing the majority in English. For South Africa, it's quite interesting because English as a first spoken language is actually only 31%, and then you have a mix of local languages like Zulu, Xhosa, and Afrikaans, which make up around 40% of the first spoken languages in the country. And then for Kenya, English is like the first language at around 20%, and then Swahili is actually the most dominant one. This is not to say, though, that Kenyans, it's not to say that these people don't speak English, it's just not their language of choice. And this is also taken into effect rural as well as urban areas. And just some general information about payments. So even like as in MENA, cash on delivery and cash on collection is always a preference because there have been quite a lot of scams, and there's not the financial institutions aren't as established there as in many like tier 1 countries. However, Safaricom saw this as their opportunity 4 years ago, where they introduced a payment system called the M-Pesa. This is heavily used in Kenya. So this basically means that you are able to transfer money you can pay your bills and transfer money to your friends simply by text message. So you send your text message through this M-Pesa service to your friend, and then your friend would then go to the nearest M-Pesa office and basically deposit or like cash the money out. So it's very convenient, and it's growing a lot. And yeah, so the e-commerce space in this market, it's currently only like 3% of the GDP, but statistics have actually shown that it will see an increase of 40% annually. So there will definitely be a lot of opportunities to advertise different brands in this region moving forwards. And sort of just so you know what users to target, we have seen that the largest users at the moment are actually male at 64% and females are at 36%. There is a spread on the sort of ages, but the biggest age bracket at the moment are the 25 to 34-year-olds, which make up to approximately 60% of the market. The 18 to 24-year-olds are actually on the second place with 30% of the market. And now Evelina will be covering some of the top offers for Africa.
So I will start with the first one, which is Jumia. So Jumia is one of the biggest e-commerce brands in Africa. This is the this is a rev share offer that converts on any sale. It's open to most of African main countries like Nigeria, Kenya, Ivory Coast, Ghana, Uganda, Egypt, Morocco, and then Pakistan, where we have a Daraz brand. The offer has a different payouts, different rev share payouts, depending on the country. So feel free to look for them and on our platform. It's open to display inline context, social, in-app display, mobile, social, and instant adult search are not allowed. So like I mentioned, this is one of the strongest and biggest brands in those markets. In Nigeria, the Jumia stands on the 6th positions on the country ranked as out of all the mobile sites. In Kenya, it's as well on a position 6. Ivory Coast number 5, Morocco 16, Ghana 8, Egypt 56, Uganda 9, and Pakistan 8. This is why I think like it's definitely worth trying, and there is no way it's not going to work because it's very already strong brand. We have as well mobile apps which convert on an app install and opening the app. The offers, the iOS version pays 120 CPI and Android 80 cents CPI, and it's open to in-app mobile display, mobile search, and mobile social. The top converting age group is between 18 and 34. When it comes to the gender, the female is 65% and male 35%. However, it varies depending on the country. So if you require more information, just feel free to reach out to your affiliate manager for more information. The top categories are in Nigeria, it's the mobile phone and tablets. In Kenya, it's mobile phones as well. In Egypt, fashion. In Ivory Coast, mobile phones as well. Morocco, mobile phones. Pakistan, sport and fitness. Uganda, women's fashion, and Ghana, mobile phones. So as we can see in general, mobile phones are the top category in terms of the sale. So people like they look more a lot for electronic stuff like mobile phones, tablets, and television. The next offer is Javago. It's a travel offer open to Nigeria, Pakistan, and Kenya. It converts on any booking and then pays 20 euros for the new customer and 10 euros for returning customer. The payouts are very high, taking into consideration how much you spend on the traffic in those markets. The offer is open to display, social, and mobile, and has a 30-day cookie. So demographics for this offer looks like this. So it's 57% male and 40% female, students and medium to high wage earners. The age groups are between 18 and 38 years old, and then domestic travel is mostly popular. So people traveling within African continent or within the country. The top years is Nigeria and has 50% of all traffic coming from this market. Then we have Pakistan, which has 18% all traffic, and Kenya 5%. The top destinations are the biggest country, the main cities in those countries. For instance, in Nigeria it's Lagos, in Kenya it's Mombasa, and in Pakistan Karachi. Top converting times of the week, it's Wednesday and Saturday. The top converting times of the year is December and end of January. And the top promo types, it's social, for instance, Facebook and YouTube, as well as mobile, social, and in-app display. Mobile content offers are very strong in African market. It's because there is not much restrictions, and as Hannah mentioned, there's a lot of people using mobile phones. People like receiving ads on the SMS. So we have some offers open to South Africa. It's 100+ games, emoticon, and Minecraft. It's a click flow offer when you're sending 3G traffic or pin submit when you send Wi-Fi traffic. It pays $340 per subscription, and it's basically open to all promo types. There is no many restrictions. It allows all devices. You can send from Nokia, you can send from Samsung, iOS, and so on. Pre-landers are working really well, so feel free to create one and send for approval to your affiliate manager.
So I will give another quick overview on traffic sources, this time on the African region. Like we've seen before from what Anna told us, we know that mobile has a much greater penetration in the region comparing to web or any other devices. We also know that there's a much higher amount of feature phones than smartphones, and what this tells us is that pin submit and mobile carrier billing offers are the most successful in this region. Also, we've seen that users mainly search for job websites, news and political websites, blogs, and social media. So these are the top places where you should put advertising on. Moving on to ad networks, first one I'd like to mention is AdClick Africa. So AdClick Africa is the biggest ad network in the region. It's a network and also a DSP with a big focus on mobile, offering metrics on CPM, CPC, CPA, and CPI across video and display, and there's no minimum spend to work with AdClick Africa. Secondly, we have Admarula. So Admarula is a performance ad network focused on social media advertising. As we've seen before, that social media has a big focus on this region, has a big reach. They offer CPA, CPL, CPC, and RevShare metrics. We've had first-hand information from the team that CPLs for them are usually around the 10 to 15 rands, which translates to, in dollars, 60 cents to $1. They also require a minimum spend of 500 rands a month, but this $2 comes down to $32 a month. Last but not least, we have Citynext. Citynext is an ad exchange, more specifically a private ad exchange. What this means is you'll get more control and transparency on your offers. They work across CPM metrics, across rich media, video, and display, and there's also no minimum payment required to work with Citynext. So now we're on the questions. Any questions you have, feel free to ask them now, and we'll be here to answer them.
So the first question is, what is your top growing offer in Middle East region? I would say it's Namshi. We've seen a lot of success with this in this region and with this offer. So definitely mobile apps are converting better than the desktop offer. Android, of course, converting best. However, the advertiser is really looking for sales coming out of the install, so you need to really optimize your traffic to get a really good quality. Definitely, Saudi Arabia is converting better than the other countries for this offer. So another question is, can you tell me more about South African games offers? So the offers are, they convert on the click flow if you send 3G traffic, or they can convert on a pin submit if you send Wi-Fi traffic. So basically, if there's a pin submit, the user enters the phone number, then the pin is sent, then the user enters the pin, and then the offer converts. It pays 340 euros for subscription. Yeah, you can run it with the pre-landers. It's usually working best, or you can run it with direct linking.
And then the next question is, do you have some tips to promote e-commerce offers? Please give us an example. So from what we've seen so far, I think that display seems to have worked the best, especially in the Middle Eastern region. If you want to promote these offers, see if you can do like contextual display ideally, and especially for e-coms, you would be looking at targeting females between like 25 to 35 mainly. So it really depends on the product that you're sort of looking to promote. Deep linking is available in some of the offers. So for instance, like electronics, you should be mainly targeting males, for instance. And in terms of countries, for Namshi, for instance, I would definitely recommend UAE because that has seen most success recently. So yeah, if there's any particular offer that you're interested in, just let me know and we can give you more information on that offer.
I can see another question, the pin submit offers, what are the payment terms on these? So, so the payout, it's 340 for any subscription. This, I don't know if this is what you mean. And then in general, you get paid on a monthly basis, depending if the conversions are approved or not. And then another question is, would you say desktop traffic is as big as mobile in Africa? No. So like we were saying, mobile is growing a lot in Africa. People are mainly using phones. There's not many people having actually laptops or desktop computers. So yeah, definitely focus on mobile traffic in this region.
And then the second question is, can I use my pre-landers before sending traffic to the download toolbar of the Mina? So this really depends on sort of what traffic type you're using. For search, you would need to use a pre-lander in order to be compliant with Google, for instance. For display, you can direct link. Yeah. And for POP traffic as well, you don't need to use a pre-lander. Okay, I think that's all the questions. Let's just have a look if there's anything else coming in.
And there's still something coming in. So is there a cap for Namshi offer? So there is a cap for mobile apps. So if you want to run iOS or Android offers, you'll be capped 200 daily, just to assess the quality at the beginning. If the quality is it's good, we can increase it or remove the cap completely. And if you're running desktop offers, there is no cap because it's CPA offer, so there is no need for that.
Someone just now asked, are those the top 3 traffic sources? We don't really know which offer you're referring to. If you could specify that, would be great. Well, you may be referring to the toolbar offers. Okay, so again, I mean, it depends what region you're looking to promote in. So, for instance, in the emerging markets, like say MENA and Africa in particular, we have actually seen quite a lot of success with POP and display traffic. If you're looking to promote more like tier 1 countries, like US, UK, Canada, etc., then toolbars work well on search as well as display.
And then if you're wondering top sources for the e-commerce brands, then I would say it's definitely display and pop traffic, just for those offers that allow pop, of course. And then inline contextual is usually working really well for travel brands. So you can run that on Javago.
Any more questions? Okay, it looks like that's it then. Well, in that case, thank you very much for listening, guys. It's been great, and we hope that you found this fruitful and that it will help you in, moving forwards with promoting our offers and just offers in general in these regions. So thank you very much.
And then we will share the presentation. Will be sent via email, the link probably to our YouTube channel, so you can listen it up again if you're looking for any specific information.
Thanks for attending, everyone, and have a rest of a good day.